Ed and Lorraine Warren were well-known demonologists. Over the course of their career, they have investigated over 10,000 cases, all dealing with the paranormal. You probably recognize the infamous couple from the Conjuring series. This movie franchise is based on the couple's real-life paranormal investigations. But here's the thing. A lot of people think that they're frauds, that they made up all these elaborate stories for fame and wealth. From them bribing people to fake possession to Ed having inappropriate relationships. Let's talk about these and more only in today's video. Top 10 times Ed and Lorraine Warren got exposed. Starting off this countdown, we have the Enfield haunting. This is the house and case that The Conjuring 2 was based off of. The case involved a young girl named Janet Hodgson, who was said to have been possessed by a spirit. The spirit would throw objects across the room, make noises in their house, and sometimes would even levitate Janet into mid-air. Ed and Lorraine Warren were assigned to this case and to expel the evil entity responsible for all of this. But turns out that Janet and her sister Peggy made up this whole thing. In 2015, when Janet was 45 years old, she said that her and her sister faked some of the phenomena. So according to researchers, most of the paranormal things happened when no one was actually looking at the two girls. Like they would have their backs turned to them and then all of a sudden an object would be thrown through the air. Well, obviously the girls were doing that themselves. They also said they captured audio of a dresser falling over on its own. But upon closer inspection, footsteps could be heard leading up to the dresser before it fell over, meaning someone likely pushed it over. And the photos of Janet apparently levitating in midair looked like she just jumped off her bed. So the whole Janet being haunted by a ghost, yeah, that was made up. And the Warrens went along with it. In our 9th spot, we have the credibility. Okay, now I was diving deep into Reddit, looking at what everyone thought about the Warrens, when I came across a post from a user named Jack_Shid. Jack claims that he worked alongside the Warrens for a couple of cases. He proceeded to reveal that they have no credibility, and it's pretty much all BS. He goes on saying that he thinks they just fell in love with fame during the whole Amityville haunting, and they created their business from there. So it could just be that they make up all these hauntings just to then make a book to then make money. But before I go any further, make sure to give this video a big thumbs up because it really helps us out. Moving on, at number 8 we have the Amityville Horror. Probably one of the most controversial paranormal cases of all time. Because in the end, the whole thing was just one big sham. So here's a little rundown. On November 13th of 1974, Robert Butch DeFeo killed his parents and his 2 brothers and 2 sisters. The house was put up for sale and the Lutz family moved in. And apparently the demon that got Butch to do that horrific deed started to attack their family, and their doors and cupboards would swing open and close, green slime would ooze from their ceiling, and one time a demonic face with red glowing eyes was seen looking into the house. So on and so on. The Warrens went to investigate and confirmed that the house was haunted. But clearly that was a lie, because guess what? Butch's lawyer, William Weber, admitted that he made up this whole story along with George Lutz. They created the story over many bottles of wine, they said. They admitted the house was never really haunted, they just made it all up. Which means so did the Warrens. In our 7th spot, we have the Werewolf Man. This was a pretty weird case if you ask me. But a man named William, or Bill Ramsey, claimed to have been possessed by a werewolf. Apparently he used to try and bite his family and also had superhuman strength. At one point he managed to rip a post right up from the concrete. So on and so on, you get it. He was claimed to be possessed by a werewolf. The Warrens were sent to exorcise this demon out of his body. And they talk all about this in their book, Werewolf, a true story of demonic possession. But a lot of people aren't buying this story. I mean, they haven't produced any photos or material evidence. And the story just seems so hard to believe. Like, a man possessed by a werewolf, and then he gets exorcised and he's just magically cured? No, a lot of people think that this case was all a sham as well. Moving on, at number 6 we have the illegal relationship. A woman named Judith Penny came forward saying that in the early 1960s, she had a relationship with Ed Warren. This was going on when she was not of age. Ed was apparently in his mid-30s when he met Penny. Penny was 15. The two began to have a relationship with Lorraine knowing. In 1963, she moved in with them. She stayed in a bedroom right across the couple's room in their home. Now, Penny ended up coming forward with this because of how their relationship was displayed in the movies. They looked like such a loving, perfect Catholic couple. But they weren't. They had their dark side, especially Ed with his relationship with a young girl. We're now at our 5th and halfway mark with the baby. Now, Penny went on to expose a lot about the Warrens. In fact, in May of 1978, she got pregnant with Ed's child. But guess what? She was forced to abort the child. Apparently, if word got out, then this scandal could ruin their reputation. In fact, when Penny was living with the Warrens, they would lie and just say she was their niece or a poor girl that they took in out of the goodness of their own hearts. It's pretty sick if you ask me. Penny literally didn't have a choice but to get rid of the baby. In fact, they wanted Penny to tell everyone that someone broke into her apartment and took advantage of her, and that's how she got pregnant. She refused to do that, and they got so mad that she was terrified. Like, that's so heartbreaking. Moving on to number 4, we have the toxic relationship. Again, in the films, Ed and Lorraine Warren seem like a perfect demon fighting duo. You can tell that they love and care about each other dearly. Except, according to Penny, this wasn't the case in real life. She said that Ed was very physically and verbally abusive towards Lorraine. In fact, she said that one time she witnessed Ed backhand Lorraine so hard that she lost consciousness. In fact, he would often slap her across the face to get her to stop talking. Penny literally said, and I quote, "Some nights I thought they were going to kill each other." That is terrifying. In our 3rd spot, we have the Lady in White. One famous ghost is one called the Lady in White, who haunts Union Cemetery in Easton, Connecticut. According to the legend, she's the victim of betrayal by her lover, and she died either by taking her own life from being heartbroken or by being killed by her lover. Well, Ed was determined to capture her on tape and enlisted Penny's help. In fact, Penny helped keep Ed's reputation as a ghost hunter. So in the summer of 1990, Ed apparently camped out in the cemetery for a week trying to make contact with this ghost. The two faked a video of the Lady in White, which was just Penny. Anyways, he went on to make great claims that he made contact with her, but hardly any evidence was provided, just a few shadow ghosts on video, which we now know was Penny. Coming in at number 2, we have the Smurl haunting. Back in the 1980s, the Smurl family swore that their house was haunted. They would hear loud noises, smell foul odors, and hear pig grunts. Apparently, whatever was haunting their house also threw their dog against the wall and pushed one of their daughters down the stairs. Of course, Ed and Lorraine came to investigate, and they claimed it was haunted. They even said that they saw a message appear on a mirror that read, "Get out." But get this, members of the clergy were brought in to do a blessing and exorcism. And guess what? They reported nothing unusual happening there. But the Warrens were adamant that the house was haunted, and they turned the story into a book and then made money off of it. And in our number 1 spot, we have The Devil Made Me Do It. In 1981, a man named Arn Cheyenne Johnson was arrested after fatally stabbing his landlord to death. But his case was much different than others. He claimed that the devil made him do it. In fact, his case was the first court case where the defense was arguing demonic possession. And guess who was involved in all of this? Ed and Lorraine Warren. But turns out that Ed and Lorraine Warren might have concocted this whole story for him. So according to the story they put out, Johnson's brother-in-law, David Glatzel, was the first one to become possessed by a demon. He claimed a man with big black eyes and a thin face with animal features was controlling him. Johnson eventually went on to taunt this demon, telling it to stop bothering David and to take him instead. And I guess the demon did what he asked, because then Johnson was possessed by this demon, and that's what made him kill the landlord. But according to David's brother Carl, David was never possessed. He was just mentally ill and needed help from doctors. He then claims that his whole family was manipulated by the Warrens. They created this whole story about demons in an attempt to get rich and famous. According to Carl, the Warrens promised his family that they'd become millionaires if they would insist that both Carl and David were haunted by demons. In the end, he ended up suing the Warrens for trying to exploit his brother's mental illness, and for also attempting to get a guilty man to walk free. Alright guys, that's all for today's video. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this video. The Warrens seemed a little bit shady, not gonna lie. And now we're gonna move on to our comment shout out portion. I'm gonna be shouting out comments from the video Top 10 Dark Things the Vikings Did Part 2. Tara Allen commented, "Yippee! It's Lindsay Ivan. Here's my shout out to you. Hope you and your co-workers have a great day." Okay, normally I give the shout outs. I have never received a shout out, so thank you for shouting me out. That's a little bit different. Deception Barricade Vivo commented, "Nice one, Lindsay." Thank you. Thank you very much. Graham P commented, "Lindsay in a horned helmet is something the world needs to see. Make it so." Not a chance. Not a chance. But also, did you know that the Vikings didn't actually wear horned helmets, okay? That was all just a lie. They didn't actually wear them. And you won't catch me ever wearing them. So, sorry. Sorry, but I'm not sorry. Alright guys, that's all the comments I'm shouting out for today's video. Make sure to comment something down below for a chance to be featured in my next comment shout out. And as always, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe to Most Amazing Top 10 for more amazing videos. I've been your host, Lindsay Ivan, and I'll see you when I see ya. I can never say it. Amityville? No, it's not. Amityville, thank you. Amityville. Like, that's so heartbreaking. Sorry. I know, I just didn't know what to say. Coming in at number 2, we have the Smurl. Okay, I was like, what did I even type? But according to David's brother Carl, this is so like all over the place.